Alright, what is up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jordan and I'm a third year medical student in New Jersey. So I have been MIA for the past few weeks just because it's been so busy with the end of clerkships, the holidays, and moving. I wanted to use this video to give updates on what has been happening the past few weeks and give a little bit of direction of where the channel is going for the next few months. So the last video that I released was a 2-week vlog about my surgery weeks when I was on OBGYN. I only had one more week of OB-GYN after that, and I was on labor and delivery, and then also had like my OSCE and my exam. So it was a really busy week. I wasn't really able to film too much of it, but labor and delivery was awesome. I was able to scrub into a bunch of C-sections, which are some of the craziest surgeries that I've ever seen. They're just so fast and intense. And then I was also able to see a few vaginal deliveries, help out with that, and then finished up with my exam. However, after I took my exam, I had one more hurdle to, get through before we were really done. We had our emergency medicine shelf exam, and that was the following Wednesday. So we only had Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday to study for it. Emergency medicine at my school is a little bit weird. It's a longitudinal clerkship, so we don't have like a dedicated 4, 6, 8 weeks for it. We have it throughout our whole clerkship year. So we do 2 shifts in every single block. So it's something that we've been working on for a while. But we don't, have a lot of like dedicated study periods for it. It was really just those 4 days. So that was some really intense studying, trying to get through all of the emergency medicine U-World and just brush up on a lot of the important topics. Thankfully, the 2 clerkships that I had last, pediatrics and OBGYN, pop up a lot on emergency medicine. So I felt like I had a decent background of a lot of the content that was on there. So it ended up going fine. So yeah, after I finished that exam, I was done with my core clerkship year of medical school. Clerkships went very fast. I was talking to some friends about this the other day, and it's weird because while it was only a year and like it didn't feel that long ago time-wise that we were starting clerkships, feels like a very long time ago in terms of like experience-wise, and the medical students we were right when we started is completely different from where we are today. So the amount of growth in this past year has been immense. And then 2 days after our EM shelf, we had another exam. So we actually had a practice step 1 exam, and that's because right now we're headed into our step 1 dedicated. I mean, at the point of me recording this video, I'm already like 2 weeks into it. So that was another thing that, a lot of people didn't really study for just because it didn't count. It's just to give you a baseline of where you're at. But it was still a 5-hour exam that we had to do on Friday after sort of a whole week of preparing for other exams. So it was a really busy, hectic week, and there really wasn't a lot to film because I was just studying like 8 hours a day. Right after that exam, me, Mackenzie, and my roommate Ryan, we drove to Philly. We actually went to like a suburb of, right outside of Philly in New Jersey where Ryan's sister lives. But the reason we were going to Philly is because we were running the Philly half marathon. Me and Ryan did it last year together. This year we wanted to do it again. And Mackenzie also wanted to run something. So she ran the 8K, which was the same day. Ryan ran the half marathon that morning, and I actually ran both. So I ran the half marathon with him, and then like an hour later did the 8K with her, which is another like 5 miles. So all in all, it was like an 18-mile a day. That was definitely like the hardest physical thing that I've ever done. The hour between the half marathon and running the 5 miles was pretty bad just because my body, I guess, was like starting to shut down in terms of like go into rest mode. And then it was like, oh no, you have to run 5 more miles. So that 5-mile run just killed me. It was way harder than any of the miles of the half marathon, but made it through. I was really happy I was able to do it. We hung around in Philly for a few hours, and then we came home. So that was Saturday. Keep in mind, this is the day after a 5-hour practice step 1 exam. We got home on Saturday, and then Sunday we moved. I had to, pack up some of my stuff Saturday night. Sunday morning, my parents came up from Maryland to help me move from South Jersey back up to North Jersey, because that is where a lot of my next clinical rotations are at our main flagship hospital back up in North Jersey. So I moved back up here and I'm living with Mackenzie. So that's why things look a little bit different. We are in our new apartment. It's been crazy to set stuff up just because we moved on Sunday and Monday, and then Tuesday we went back home for Thanksgiving, so we didn't have a lot of time to put stuff away. There's just boxes everywhere. We've made a little bit more progress, but everything is not finalized yet. So like I said, we went home for Thanksgiving, came back, and started Step 1 dedicated. So that's pretty much what I will be doing for the next 3 months, is studying for Step 1 and 2. My school does Step 1 after your core clerkship year, which isn't super traditional. It is becoming more common for a lot of schools. I know Miami does it, Medical College of Georgia does it. So a lot of schools are starting to adopt that, I think, because learning all this stuff that you do in your clerkship year does help for Step 1. You're not focused on a lot of the nitty gritty biochem. No one really pimps you on glycolysis on your IM rotation, but you still learn a lot about the common diseases that you still see on Step 1. So I think that's the reason for sort of pushing it back after your clerkship year, and then you just kind of have to touch up on those super basic science, mechanism of action of different drugs kind of topics, and then you take Step 1. It is thankfully pass-fail now, so it's not, the make or break test that is going to determine your future. But yeah, so that is what I will be doing for the next 3 months. I will definitely make a video about my Step 1 dedicated schedule. That is going to come much later, just because I want to focus on actually passing Step 1 first before I try to give any advice or share what I did, because I don't want to put something out there that ends up not working. But yeah, so that's kind of what I've been doing, is just studying for Step 1. It's been a grind already. I was very excited to be done with clerkships and only focus on studying for exam, because the hardest part of clerkships isn't really what you're doing day to day in the hospital. That's fun. You get to go in the OR, you get to actually interact with patients and treat them. The hardest part is trying to fit studying in around that, because you still have an exam that counts for real points. It's not pass fail at the end of the clerkship. So having that balance is really hard. So I know me and a lot of my classmates were excited to be into Step 1 dedicated, where it's okay, all you have to do is study for this exam. But it is a beast of an exam. Like I said, I do have a lot of background knowledge, but there's a lot of the basic science stuff that I just completely forgot from my first class of medical school. So I've been doing probably 8 to 10 hour study days, go a lot more in depth into my specific study schedule and what resources I use in a later video. In terms of what the channel is going to look like, obviously it's not going to be super exciting for me to vlog every week where I'm just sitting in either this apartment or a coffee shop and studying for 8 hours a day. It's going to be more videos like this, where it's not necessarily a vlog, but it's just me talking, and making videos like a Step 1 dedicated study video. Probably make a video just recapping my clerkship year, sort of going through every single clerkship and my thoughts on it, sort of maybe do a tier list, something like that. I will do maybe a day in the life of studying, but like I said, it's basically just me sitting at a desk and doing practice questions, so it's not the most exciting. And there certainly might be weeks where I'm not posting, just because these are our board exams. They're required to pass for our licensing. You need to pass them to graduate. And Step 2, which I'll be taking more in February, that test is still scored, and it basically determines your residency. Probably more so in January, February. Probably won't be posting that much, just because I really have to focus on that exam. All right, well, that is going to do it for today's video. If you enjoyed, please be sure to leave a like below and subscribe if you want to see videos like this in the future. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next one.